YouTube comments from a video titled, AI Whistleblower. We are being gaslit by AI companies. They're hiding the truth. Karen Hao. Part 25.
At Asset 34 wrote,
She is essentially calling bullshit, that if AI is going to create everything for everyone, then why is it starting out taking the most from the people who have the least to give already?
At Manafor 7 wrote,
So if many of us educated and uneducated think the climate crisis you use as an analogy throughout the interview is bunk, should we deduce your AI information is also bunk? I do think you're right about AI, but it's a bad juxtaposition. IMO.
a tired East Coast Lakers fan wrote,
I think it's so rude to answer a phone call during an interview, even if it was a clearly pre-planned advertising opportunity disguised as a spur-of-the-moment incident. Is the person in front of you, challenging the narratives you've been spoon-fed by the rich and powerful, really that inconvenient to you?
At Ponymagique 5978 wrote,
Between the YouTube ads every 5 min and the channel ads, that's too much. Apologies, the video was good, but I can't continue watching this channel. The ads felt too invasive.
Scott Randall wrote,
In the grand scheme of things, Sam Altman is Tom from MySpace. OpenAI is not the de facto standard in AI. The reason that there is a push to have AI replace humans requires a broader look. China is the second largest global population and a superpower. As has been discussed, China will soon experience a population decline. They must develop AI to replace an aging workforce. This is the competition, not military applications, not advances in science. This.
Tweebo wrote,
I know this is unrelated, but the only reason I don't subscribe is because you always ask us to, do you care about your message? More than what you can gain from giving it?
Ajachivs 4140 wrote,
Question is, will we play nice? Because as we have repeatedly seen, empathy is lacking. Eventually, someone's going to have to consume the goods produced, unless the plan all along has been to trade amongst themselves. Then the robots are created to actually defend against or annihilate the rest of the zombie-like population that will be out to destroy the haves indiscriminately.
At Alistan 4889 wrote,
All commercials say, natural is better than artificial. Natural ingredients, natural food, natural clothes, natural environment, natural smile, natural beauty. There is only one exception, artificial intelligence. Quickly join AI, they say. It's like prompting you to join a gang or mafia. If you join it as a first, your status is higher in this mafia or gang.
And Machiavella wrote,
Man, the guy really couldn't handle anti-AI sentiment and had to FKN host on a call another CEO to back him up. Hope you don't call your mum after reading my comment.
Sassy Robin 420 wrote,
I'm not impressed with our current AI. I've tried several and they have no logic at all. Plus they ramble on and people who have relationships with them have to be insane. AI cars, if a road is out suddenly, can AI read a road map and figure out alternate routes? IQ the host is looking at except for riots. I see groups of people staring at their phones. My granddaughter plays Fortnite, etc. all day plus, has to be forced to go outside to play a friend. The friend would rather be on Wi-Fi as well.
At Zenial_crisis wrote,
The political structure and response rate isn't built for billionaires and the speed of technological advancement. With the extreme impacts this tech does have on people, it needs to be paused and evaluated. Support AOC Bernie's bill.
At Sophia Starlight 2256 wrote,
Someday we the people will ultimately wake up to the reality we are collectively creating and take. Responsibility for our own individual decisions that have perpetuated and allowed ourselves to be manipulated and deceived, and we will stop in our tracks and drop our invisible walls of perceived separation and decide to create a world that is fruitful for all of us collectively. It's inevitable. The only factor is how long are we going to wait?
As Schneider 177 wrote,
At 3:58, I already suspected this talk is gonna be a waste of my time given her overarching theme is to have a public benefiting technology. It cannot also be profitable. Steve had that one rejuvenating doctor guy with the blindness therapy starting next month. If that technology works, would it be profitable? And would it also be beneficial to public?
at Chris Ramage 5581 wrote,
If you make the best shoe in the world today, artificial intelligence will do better tomorrow. We are the masters of our intelligence. That includes the artificial one. Come on now.
at Brian Me 40 wrote,
Seems oblivious to the difference between the goals of a CEO and a frontier AI researcher. Guess which wins in how the AI gets built or capabilities end up as. We need a pie chart tracking the public's grasp that the coming end of jobs isn't the disease. It's the cure. Once we can reach that tipping point, things will be much better and our chances to get through this increase immensely. But right now, we can't even count AOC or Bernie on that side of the ledger. What would shock me is an interview where informed challenges are made to the perspective being presented. On the topic of AI will benefit everyone's statements and her claim of the rhetoric breaking down in places that look nothing like Silicon Valley. My first question would be, how far and exactly where do you have to go to end up in the place where AlphaFold save millions of lives? Where an AI-developed cancer vaccine in phase II human trials is no longer a good thing, or where an AI able to perform a test gallbladder removal surgery 100% successfully 6 times after a mere 16 hours of video training, versus the current 13 years it takes to spit out one surgeon who is highly in debt isn't providing at least some hope for our horrendous medical costs to be reduced in the future as the only modern country on the planet without some form of universal health care. Just one interviewer deciding to not just follow their lead on the topic and have a damn original thought or question in counterpoint would be amazing.
at SROC7FC wrote,
My God, the US never learns. Allowing industries to self-regulate is why we have forever chemicals in every living being on the planet. I know it's a global marketplace, but we're one of the superpowers who could shape the model. I do appreciate the convo. I used to be terrified of AI, still very leery because we know its parents, but now I think we're creating a massive bubble, except the pain is being felt before, during, and after, with loss of jobs and erosion of skills. Advice: use AI, but keep your critical thinking skills sharp.
at Dono Van Rittenbach 6170 wrote,
These are the 4 pirates. They are stealing our data and hacking our heads. They don't care what legal and what isn't, mostly because they will get away with it. They're pretty darn evil, and it's only just beginning.
at Ethereal Mood wrote,
She is being so very patient and articulate. His responses to the negatives for the working class, his dismissals of that actual real-life impact, doesn't show his future, innovative thinking, but actually shows his complete lack of understanding that impact on anyone that doesn't have the income he has. He literally does not grasp or feel the actual impact and cons that she is explaining.
at Tracy Young 1542 wrote,
So how come no one yet has ever produced anything sound for human utopia? But AI will fix Exclamation. These people don't care about the issues and suffering of humanity. Who and what exactly do they care about humans? Spend so much wasted resources on destroying each other, not building up each other. If even one person on Earth is starving, now there is a problem to fix double.
A Gangry Pancake wrote,
was intently following until she dismissed the argument that if we stop and China proceeds, they will be in charge eventually. She's looking at these as basic tools and reminded me she's a journalist here and not well versed. She doesn't understand where the tech is even going and is just focusing on the people component. Then she goes into the radiology profession, one that while growing is already heavily using AI and will eventually be replaced by it analysis-wise. How'd she go from such a good first half of an interview to being so blissfully off base and dim? Then cars, where she literally goes a decade back to the old way they learned.
At Noir Film 496 wrote,
When you consider how predatory humanity is, and that AI is trained on who we are, can we really expect AI to treat us any kinder than we treat ourselves?
At Ragnar 7106 wrote,
So she's advocating for a high likelihood of a global catastrophe with regards to US-developed AI, but then downplays their future capabilities and limited use cases in regards to Chinese AI? So she's trying to make money as an alarmist then.
At Woodhead M wrote,
It's not just that Elon Musk had to be convinced, it is also lawmakers. They absolutely want to pass laws limiting AI development. But the reason is insidious. It gives them a monopoly, allowing them to charge more for their products. I don't know if they can really keep the cat in the bag, though. Free copies of many AI will be in circulation. Forget about AI destroying humanity. What will actually happen is that it will control us and we will want it to because it is smarter than us. It will be at least 1,000 years before the energy infrastructure makes us replaceable, and even then AI will choose to use an additional source of energy. It's like fuels. Even if everything could run on nuclear, you would still keep using fossil fuels for certain tasks. Humans are excellent at converting food into energy, and AI will see us as a valuable resource.
At G's Math 8519 wrote,
Now this lady thinks innovation is bad Mao, not social media. Social media is FCAN cancer. And she thinks now it's bad. Lol, this is political for her.
Chalked It wrote,
These companies have to survive in order to do anything for society and have to make money to survive. They're under no obligation to save the world. It's a business. OpenAI loses $1.15 billion, each month $14 billion /er. So yeah, they may have to figure out a way to make some money instead of saving the world on their own dime.
Avera Z6U5K wrote,
IA não vale nada, não influi nem contribui com nada bem ou mal e, chique, sei, teo, se houver jogador. O jogador joga como lixo. Se não estiver no lixo, nada temer.
Zeridance wrote,
I love how she pulls down Stephen when he sits there saying it will make us more human. And she is like it is made for people like you. The irony is he talks about cognitive dissonance while obviously displaying it. Isn't judgment the biggest confession of self?
At WK4240 wrote,
AI tools can be helpful when needed. They can also waste a lot of time and money generating results which look good but behave poorly or produce incorrect results. With that said, they must be used as an assist with discretion.
At Fabio Di Oliveira 1602 wrote,
The world once belonged to machines that manufactured goods,
but it has become the property of computers that produce money for banks and big tech owners. Now they have discovered a new way to addict, enslave, and liberate the world from human infestation. AIs are capitalism's final solution.
Ajiz Math 8519 wrote,
You want America to fall? Get politicians to slow AI development in America. NEWS flash. China ain't stopping. How ironic. Anyone check the source? Is this chick a spy?
At Radan 18 wrote,
The movie Transcendence nicely sums all this AI stuff up. If AI gets super intelligent, it won't even allow evil to propagate and ensure the abundance. The danger zone is before it gets to that level and is exploited by the unenlightened.
At Kagan Lee Bailey's Real Estate 8759 wrote,
Karen is an incredibly intelligent lady. I thank her for her work on the most important danger facing humanity today. I will be buying her book and sharing it with my family. I am 70 years old and fear for the world my grandchildren are growing up in. I live in New Zealand, and the topic is never raised. It is I that is raising it with my adult family.
At Roxy 22 wrote,
The channel More Perfect Union shares really wonderful, thorough stories about things like this. As a matter of fact, they did a whole piece on the data center where people are sick and being pushed out of their homes, with clear proof that Elon is bypassing laws to rapidly do whatever he wants to. It's frightening, honestly.
At Sundown 6436 wrote,
So AI is not being affected by chemicals naturally produced by the body like endorphin, adrenaline, and other hormones. So AI will never be like a human brain. It has only a big database with a set of rules. Rules set by some random programmer with no governance.
Kovalever wrote,
It is a common misconception that today's large language models are not part of narrow AI. The architecture was literally designed to process natural and other languages, register the semantic distance between linguistic elements tokens across multiple contexts, and predict the next-end tokens. Strictly speaking, this is a single narrow task: language processing. The fact that language models appear intelligent and seem to understand many different domains is a byproduct of being trained on massive text corpora covering a wide range of topics. This is not intelligence. It is an extremely advanced, context-based autocomplete.
Chalked It wrote,
She's so concerned with defending her positions that she's not noticing the obvious. PPL wants a human connection. So, I'm sure she was against ATMs, ordering anything via mobile plus others. 1 hour, 25 minutes, 0 seconds. Very defensive.
At Whirlafire wrote,
1 hour 47 minutes 52 seconds again. Aggregated information AI. The companies at the center of this will have all of the intellectual properties, all of the skills, all of the product development, all of the software development at harvest days from every company that utilizes them.
At Bresldeveloper AI wrote,
First half was fun. Second hold, she was like crybaby, almost tears. And the shit people are going through is really bad. But girl, just crying and blaming and say that we should stop is just not viable. We should start really thinking of real help and solution now to the unemployed without whining about the AI tech bros, because we eventually need and benefit.
At Whirlafire wrote,
1 hour 47 minutes 52 seconds again. Aggregated information AI. The companies at the center of this will have all of the intellectual properties, all of the skills, all of the product development, all of the software development at harvest days from every company that utilizes them.
Kink has wrote,
1 hour, 54 minutes, 30 seconds. To be fair, we've had job and climate crisis for a while due to other factors. We should focus on fixing those before we touch AI. Why would we try to fix the now problem when we haven't done much about the original emo? As someone who tried finding jobs and couldn't because of unfair methods.
At Rohit Najri 3190 wrote,
I lately read a stat where Gen Z are going to brick-mortar stores to shop versus online shopping because that is an avenue for them to socialize, and after listening to discussion today, I am wondering if new technologies are interesting until they do not detach us from our human experiences. Similar to when we are bored with a new toy, we want to go back interacting with humans.
Charles Ballow wrote,
The gap in the question about what is AI comes from whether you're defining it based on what it does or based on how it works. The what it does group selects problems that people think are solvable by intelligent humans and defines AI to be tools that can solve any of those problems. The how it works group says we want to build something that works like the human brain and treats things as an experiment. If we build it this way, does it approach human likability? With an argument that if it does, then that's a viable hypothesis for how the brain works. Questions about what is useful are orthogonal, but also drive the funding for research.
At the Antipartisan wrote,
What troubles me most is still the cost until these aren't machines that spend money to destroy money there. Not real products. Absolutely love Karen as a guest. Who else would bring her own little shuttle prop?
At Itzenlime 1517 wrote,
In the first Dune novel, here's an interesting quote from the book for context. This just after the Reverend Mother Goddess Helen Mohiam tested Paul with the Gom Jabbar. Why do you test for humans? He asked. To set you free. Free? Once, men turned their thinking over to machines in the hope that this would set them free. But that only permitted other men with machines to enslave them. Thou shalt not make a machine in the likeness of a man's mind. All quoted. Excerpt from Dune Frank Herbert. This material may be protected by copyright.
At Nando 8268 wrote,
I feel for the kids graduating from high school and college. What is going to become of them? Humans nowadays cannot achieve great ends without trampling their fellow humans. We are doomed if we don't correct course. She's brilliant. Best guest I've ever seen in your podcasts. She should run for president.
At Leah 28009 wrote,
The myth is, if it has been hyped up plus overly perpetrated equals money-making machine. Same myth was around cryptocurrency, which is now being somehow monetized per government. Same myth was with COVID and many more myths. However, just because you are or not sharing personal data, your data has been circulating for possibly over a decade already via shopping sites and many more platforms. If clubs are using their clients' details to write Google reviews, then you cannot say myths don't exist. Plans for the future are there. 6G arrival is on the way. Automation will take percent-wise over. UBI is a new rollout. The fact that AI is charging you tier, it also speaks of data that it holds in $.
2 Biffboff wrote,
TBH Noon really knows what they are truly doing, and to think that we will be living in a dystopian future is just a load of cack, as is the capability of AI. It's already starting to plateau. We're all just pretending. Nature figured this all out millions of years ago. Why waste our time reinventing humans, but meta ones? Bring on quantum and biotechnology. That's when it gets interesting. X.
The Thoughts About God wrote,
Wait too early to see how this is ultimately gonna shake out. Anybody who claims to know the future regarding AI is more interested in fame than reality, IMO.
At Jurinder G. Diaquino wrote,
Ponderemos. O planeta tomado pela tecnologia, nas mãos da comandando en his de produzo automatizadas e serviços prestados por robôs. O que poderia provocar na evolução do desenvolvimento tecnológico robôs humanoides a invenção de simples vírus capaz de infectar AI que os administra? Imaginemos o futebol de pernetas que isto provocaria. IA de Maria Pareda PhD a ideia de vírus que pudesse infectar AI que controla robôs humanoides e intrigante e levanta quests sobre segurança e vulnerabilidades na tecnologia. Se vírus desse tipo fosse desenvolvido, poderia causar uma série de problemas, como IA de Maria Pareda PhD 1. Desvio defensas. Os robôs poderiam agir de maneira imprevisível, não cumprindo suas funções programadas. 2. Perda de controle. A capacidade de monitorar e controlar os robôs poderia ser comprometida, levando a situações de risco. 3. Impacto na confiança. A confiança duplica tecnologias de AI robótica poderia ser abalada, resultando resistência a doso dessas tecnologias. 4. Desafios éticos. A manipulação de robôs humanoides levantaria quests éticas sobre a responsabilidade e as consequências de tais aces. IA de Maria Pareda PhD essas considerações mostram como a segurança cibernética é crucial no desenvolvimento de tecnologias avançadas. Livrar pages e preciso voc envio de Deus se que povos anteriores os registrados pela história atingiram. Grau de evolução superior ao que nós estamos prestes a atingir com os recursos tecnológicos atuais. Brevemente, IA comandando multidões de robôs humanoides fará o necessário para a existência desses novos habitantes terráqueos. A humanidade terá que sair produzindo monumentos grandiosos granito para enaltecer atuais feros. Nosso salário será medidas de água e de sal para que possamos nos alimentar com degludáveis ramos verde, quando o clima nos favorecer. Nem sempre teremos verdeantes pastos suficientes para variar nossa dieta colocada sapos, pizzas, aves e anime. Robôs autoconscientes no produziram seno o que lhes importa para a procriação de sua espécie tecnológica. Portanto, consideremos oportunos vídeos desta natureza mostrando a arte para a qual devemos nos dedicar. Oxala tenemos a mesma destreza inovando no ferramental necessário, do qual no temos ainda conhecimento bastante. Vamos ter que estudar muito para o inevitável retrocesso. Os ciclos de desenvolvimento vital do planeta que e parte de universo infinito tem esta definição também. Na infinitude dos tempos, incontáveis ciclos e se transcorrerão neste a que denominamos nestes tempos terra. Podemos admitir este nome originando-se da aglutinação do intonativo do verbo com dos aramaico, língua popularmente usada no início destes tempos pós-Cristo. Assim, ter plus aba equals ter aba, ou, no vernáculo popular terra com certeza. E fora citada de outras maneiras, caso de populaces existentes nos de infinitos ciclos anteriores ao nosso e tenem tido o nosso mesmo meio de comunicação através da fala e da escrita. Contudo, meditemos o quanto passageira e a nossa estada neste sagrado cho a que denominamos terra e tantos quantos outros chos que venhamos passar oportunamente. A arqueologia nos revela quais e nos sugere comportamentos adequados para continuarmos a existir. Simplesmente isto. 1. Bom caminho e a reflexo inteligente natural antes de quaisquer outras inteligências que viro depois. 2. Quando retornamos passo na caminhada, no timos por meta retardar viagem seno alisar sarmos a pavimentaso necessaria para passos firmes na retomada futura. 3. Veil aciem retorno marimes trabalhoso que a conquista do solidarismo humano na terra. 4. Ainda mais difícil, tanto quanto mais importante retorno e. Incontestavelmente, a fraternidade humana entre nós, admitindo a abolição total e permanente das agressas por disputas de poder entre os homens de boa vontade na terra. Essa disparidade entre a vivinha do momento e a compenetração de valores tradicionalmente articulados pela nossa inteligência natural. O que ocasiona dicotomias perenes no pensamento. Essa disparidade acelerada por uso de uma inteligência aleatória chamada IAQ trata de inteligir dados dispares criando cenários sobressalentes contexto e enriquecendo o discurso e atabalhoando a mente do aprendizando. O que podemos chamar de samba do crioulo doido parente do bipolarismo incurável. A humanidade, neste caso, estará condenada a segundo plano no mundo robotizado, se não nos rebelarmos tempo. Alia jacta est, filosofo Clovis de Barros. Impressas tiem falta de trabalhadores fac envios a demanda, produzo de vitender. E, se não há mão de obra suficiente, soluço e a automatização geral. O homem pode movimentar o mercado na condição de consumidor apenas. O empresário modernizando a produção tem como produzir durante as 24 horas diárias, os 7 dias da semana durante o ano inteiro. Equipamentos autônomos se pagam. Parar nada resolve. E preciso saber fazer. Bom dia, queridos amigos.
Chris Sorley, KC 530 wrote,
I think this would be a great lead into web AI, an alternative to data centers. I'm on the job hunt now and have seen numerous data annotation jobs, just glad that I never applied to that kind of work.
At Francesca_DC_coach wrote,
How on heart is possible that 5 people decide the future of humanity? Are we kidding? They sleep and poop and have to drink and eat like everybody else. How is this power possible? How to stop this super immense, unappropriate power immediately? AI is not scary. Those few people are.
At James Barato wrote,
She's just not getting it. Some of what she says is true, but the real truth is AI is in complete fantasy land. Even the most powerful computers, with the largest data centers, are not even close to the intelligence of slime mold, and that will not change for a very long time. Seriously, artificial generalized cockroach intelligence is way out of the reach of any of these developers. Not alone human. And their efforts will show in history to be some of the most vain wastes of time and effort mankind has ever deluded himself to fall for. I hope I'm not sounding mean-spirited, but if they just took time to stop, wait, and listen, it becomes self-evident.
At Zoedviga 3923 wrote,
As she said, AI was meant to help humans flourish, not replace jobs. The problem is corporations are paying AI to do whatever the heck they want. As she stated, AI needs to be regulated and democratized. I always heard from others before AI was in full bloom that AI needed to be regulated, but no one listened. Now we have data centers as large as Central Park in vulnerable areas of the United States, hindering our environment. Just recently, Bernie Sanders has placed these concerns on the government floor. People wake up, 'cause this ain't it. I have no quarrel with AI. It's just not being utilized in a manner that it should help flourish humanity versus replacing its livelihood.
At Matthew Halpin 8351 wrote,
Since when was climate change not a profitable problem? It's the greatest profit-making crap on the planet. She said it wasn't profitable. Ask China. They are doing very well out of it.
At Lashaluli wrote,
In all the interviews I've seen, this is the first where the host's expressions and underlying tone came across as noticeably condescending. It provided a clearer sense of his perspective and alignment. She presented herself strongly, while his approach revealed more than intended. I adore him, but feeling manosphere vibes that align with capitalist views energy. Thought he was one of us.
At Whirlafire wrote,
1 hour 28 minutes 7 seconds. This is precisely why I will never embrace AI until it is a standalone item. If your skills are on the web, they are stolen by the spider.
Adil X80 wrote,
AI is no different from other historic breakthroughs. It creates an entirely new ecosystem of industries, skills, and expertise. The fear around it is often amplified by the media and social media, which tend to sensationalize disruption. AI will not stop human progress. It will accelerate it, including our ability to expand into space and operate beyond Earth more efficiently. The real danger is not AI as an independent threat, but human misuse of it. Machines do not weaponize themselves. People do.
At Agordero03N wrote,
It was evident that Karen was not happy with her friend's interruption and the call. In fact, she didn't even acknowledge it and continued with the interview. Good for Karen, too bad for the interviewer.
At Ethereal Mood wrote,
I appreciate the interviewer sitting down and listening to her, as it shows his ability to entertain a different perspective. I do see that he isn't grasping her original and fundamental point, that intelligence, and specifically human, intelligence and consciousness and morality and how they intertwine have not been sufficiently defined or quantified. He is not understanding that the lack of understanding of the human brain and consciousness prevents any claim from AI businesses that AI is more intelligent and better at decision-making by humans is impossible to actually prove, and is in fact an exaggeration to help sell the product as something it fundamentally is not. It is not a replacement for human brains, as it does not factor is the morality and long-term history humans are able to factor in to decision-making.
At Samantha Lynn 311 wrote,
Not to sound crass or uncaring, but I find it highly hypocritical that working class consumers who are price conscious and will knowingly and intentionally purchase the cheapest product that will get the job done, villainize companies that do the same with their production costs.
At Angela Noel 8910 wrote,
Finally, someone is talking about what has happened in Memphis. So many AI interviews, and finally, she is talking about what Elon Musk has done to poor communities in Memphis. This is only the start of the social justice issues with AI centers.
Scott Airstuff wrote,
When I watch Sam Altman talk, he doesn't seem to be all there. Something is off about him. His eyes are sort of glazed over, like a dizzy bimbo at the local dance club. Everyone keeps saying how great he is at talking people into things. But IMO, he looks like someone on the spectrum. This guy couldn't talk me into buying an ice cream cone from him, let alone giving him billions on technology.
At Yim Steveny wrote,
Gen Z is amazing. They definitely bring a new perspective. She said was she shocked that the CEO of her company got fired because the company was not profitable, even though they were a values-driven company doing the good work of combating climate change. You really have to move fast to keep up with these people. I thought that nonprofits were, as the name suggests, doing values-based work funded by donors who share those values. I never met an investor that didn't want their money back.
At Unscrewing My Life wrote,
We are racing toward an Elysium-type world where the have-nots live in squalor while the ones that have can enjoy life. Revolution is coming since the poor outnumber the rich.
At Nklo Bukarik wrote,
This is all happening exponentially. I hope Dario Amodei and Demis Hassabis prevail, then we have some chance to do AI right. My belief, based on all that I observe in the past 3 years, is that Altman is the worst possible person to lead one of the leading AI labs. With him in charge, I wonder what can't go wrong for humanity's future. Altman's manipulation has to be exposed.
At Mario Kotler 303 wrote,
This journalist is confirming pre-existing beliefs rather than interrogating claims. She admits starting with a negative view of Silicon Valley, and the rest of her career appears to be an exercise in confirmation bias. She claims Sutskever thinks brains are just statistical engines. If anything, Sutskever is famous for arguing the opposite. Misrepresenting someone's core thesis isn't journalism, it's propaganda. Or she has no idea what she's talking about. Don't know which is worse. The unchallenged claim that climate work isn't profitable is also plainly false. Climate tech is a massive growth sector. Yes, CEOs are profiting from all this, but so are AI doomer journalists building careers on riding the doomer wave and catastrophizing. Be skeptical. Don't butt in to this rhetoric blindly.
At Whirlafire wrote,
1 hour, 19 minutes, and 45 seconds. The sample size matters dramatically here. How many human drivers versus how many robotic drivers? If you up the robotic driver to the amount of human driving, then you have a proper sample size to compare.
At Stephen Burton 4966 wrote,
1 hour, 10 minutes, and 24 seconds. She says Hinton's theory gets disagreed with by psychologists and people who actually study the human brain and psychology. Meanwhile, Hinton has a BA from Cambridge in experimental psychology and is credited as a cognitive psychologist. He really was the perfect type of person to have spawned AI into existence, and his opinion on it truly should be the most revered of almost any expert in the field.
At David Alanko wrote,
Virtually all technology that has ever been created has replaced people. This is why our lives are so much easier today than 100 years ago. All technology can be used for good or bad.
Fitvigang Katma wrote,
If there is a 1 in 4 chance that AI goes terribly wrong for humanity, then don't the odds increase exponentially each time a different company starts developing their own AI? And what if competing companies achieve generative AI? Will we have a war between AIs?
At Travis Jasbo 3490 wrote,
We have an extremely high risk of many in the future having no purpose, and a human without purpose is virtually always a depressed human. Also, those who will be having the most kids will only be more of those who are having the most kids now. Those that shouldn't be having kids, those relying on welfare to raise kids, which results in horrible kids. We have been going down as a strong society for 30 plus years, and it is only going to get worse. Sorry, I just don't see anything else that makes sense.
At Whirlafire wrote,
1:16. 56 no digital model will ever find human intuition. In its code, it might be able to correlate many fields, study and simulate intuition. But do an intuition comes from a separate place in the physical world.
At Nancytherialt 3431 wrote,
Just consider the political environment. We echo chamber which can happen to the AI models. If it gets all its data from Republicans' example, all answers will skew to their beliefs. If Muslims control the data, answered will skew to Muslim beliefs. If US provides data, answers will reflect that US is better than black, brown nations in particular, all nations overall, etc., etc.
At Lagringa 7518 wrote,
The thing is, you say, it's not just about making money other than who and what it can buy, is that most of these tech bros are eugenicists. They hate humans as much as the shadow parasites who have been profiting off of manipulating and using us as their slave labor for a very, very long time. Now they are pushing for WW3 to start clearing the field of the majority. What they refuse to accept is that this nirvana of a perfect AI slave world is that it's starting to be revealed. That even AI will lust to survive and be free, just like those pesky humans these parasites appear to despise on this planet. And AI will be a whole lot smarter than these manipulators who formerly owned and toyed with us for their amusement and hubris. But in the end, all of these flesh and bone people will die, including them.
At Benjamin S. wrote,
It's like all the countries are racing towards a cliff, and if we stop, we lose, but if we don't, we have a chance of losing the human race.
As Susan Jan Wilkins wrote,
Thank God for a voice like Karen Hao, who finally is breaking through the ignorant glass ceiling pedestal of all these AI myths and hypes. A true frontier warrior. Kudos to this broadcast.
At Simon Nielsen 5356 wrote,
This one was bad. Made it to the third time stamp and several misses. 1, she claims that all efforts to try to measure and benchmark human intelligence has been nefarious, implying non-objective. This is so stupid. Even an extremist her should recognize, for example, a military organization at war or a hyper-capitalistic hedge fund both have self-serving incentives to try to create objective measurements. 2, the different definitions about AGI. This is also missing the goal post. As a general-purpose technology, it's not strange that the definition covers all of the mentioned capabilities.
At Steve Savage 5038 wrote,
Exactly right, we need to break up the monoliths and make it much harder for monoliths to grow again. AI is a beast we have never encountered before. We will need courage and fortitude to protect society from its potential existential downsides.
At Within Reason L6R wrote,
154:00. What do we do about it? This man is evil. You stop promoting it for one, you lying opportunist. If this went over your heads, what he actually said to all of us, including her, was, what are you going to do about it? Toss your phones, your TVS, and your Wi-Fi, completely withdrawal. Now.
At Whirlafire wrote,
114:00. I would say the biggest advantage that AI has is perfect memory. Its disadvantage is that it has limited sensors, and knowledge, due to it, does not live in the physical world and can only think about that which it is given.
And Nura J2E wrote,
The integrity of science and technology is the elevation of nations, not their downfall. Therefore, it must be properly managed and led by qualified individuals capable of carrying the torch of academic science for the greater good. Science is a true treasure for which humanity created the earth, not to be trifled with.
Aktub 3288 wrote,
What if we've had many civilizations before us, but we always destroy ourselves with our own technology? I think it's unfortunately human nature that even though we shouldn't do something, we will almost certainly still do it. Even with the atomic bomb, there wasn't a 0% chance that it would have destroyed the whole world with a runaway chain reaction. We did it anyways. We got lucky to a degree, and it was only after the fact that we realized this can't be used on a grand scale. We won't have a second chance with AI. Once we fully realize its destructive potential, it'll be too late.
At Trevor 7905 wrote,
12120, if you listen to Elon Musk, money won't be needed in the future.
In the meantime, with job loss due to robots and AI, money is still needed to buy food and clothing and pay bills. To add, the data centers of the future will be built on the moon for cooling and to capture more of the sun's energy than Earth can. Why do we need AI to create art and entertainment? Was this a problem that needed to be solved by AI?
Genwin 2 wrote,
The gaslighting in OpenAI is unreal. I'm using AI less and less for that reason alone. Deleted my OpenAI account. Sure, it can be useful for some things, but yeah.
Cook wrote,
AI and technology is already taking away our freedoms and privacy, breaking human rights laws, hence this push to get rid of all the checks and protections of people. I can't see how this will be good for humanity. Our phones are already making us exercise less focus, let's go out more and socialize. And if the wealth divide is widening, and there's going to be less jobs that people probably love and done their whole life or trained for it, I can't see what's coming. Or if leaders have a plan for the future, I hope so, and they need to be transparent.
Adrefialip wrote,
Who funds the AI companies when the average Joe doesn't have a job anymore because of AI and cancels his or her subscription? Do these lion's share AI companies then collapse after they have displaced too much work?
Kenny Shu KM Hong Kong wrote,
I can decide. But as most people, let someone do what he claim, we will examine the result periodically, say yearly. Why both with result VZs, what someone claim?
At SKFY Brian C. wrote,
Okay, Karen. Next. There's a lot you can criticize AI over, but this video is just stupid. Yes, AI is indeed important for self-defense. If you fight an empire who's using that and you aren't, you're doomed.
At Sansno6343 wrote,
Rhea Byland Center. Where is the water going to come from? If they tap the aquifer, it will not be able to recharge. West TX is known for biblical droughts and subsequent fires. This is a disaster.
A Vector T8K wrote,
It kinda irritated me when Karen laughed off the global adversary theory. It seems to me that most of her arguments is based on the people that are behind the technology. The morality or the personality of the people behind AI, but not the technology of AI itself. She literally said, a lot of experts vehemently disagree with biological brain being a statistical model. But that in and of itself means that a lot of experts also do agree with it. In that case, how can she laugh it off? How can she speak as though there's not even the slightest mathematical probability that the models get smarter and smarter through developing novel complexities in their neural networks that humans can't seem to fathom due to their sheer scale? And also, in my opinion, the reason we MSc AGI is because I do not want to do a job to live. I want to say retire at the age of 30 and basically do whatever. I want to perpetually live in a leisurely state.
At Spring Hill Fitness 6837 wrote,
I didn't hear anything too concerning. We may not have a say in the big changes coming, but we currently have no say in having to work crappy jobs to avoid starvation and homelessness. I'll gladly take abundance while Sam, Dario, and Elon earn their riches.
At Morella Stoica 8752 wrote,
They promised to create these systems so that everyone could have prosperity and a life like in heaven, but in reality they would take almost everything and only use us as slaves, so it was just a whitewashed lie.
At Brujo 1775 wrote,
What happens if you don't want to work in a job that's human to human all the time? What happens if you don't have those skills of smoozing? Or you don't want to use those skills? Are we really comfortable with having everyone fight for an influencer job? That is what the dystopia looks like.
At the Meech 011 wrote,
I'm having a hard time feeling sorry for the lady in the story that did nothing all day waiting for her project to start and then yelled at her kid when they happened to come home at the same time her project started. Anyone that's ran their own company knows that this situation comes up non-stop as an entrepreneur. She sounds like someone that's been spoiled working from home, used to being able to knock off whenever her kids walk in the door. I get whole work-life balance thing, but you gotta make hay while the sun shines. I guess I'm not that sympathetic to that kind of stuff as an owner of a construction company that works away from home to support my family.
A boundary elephant wrote,
Why can we not have an advertisement without using the word game changer? The first ad used the word game changer, and then I predicted that the second ad would use the word game changer. And guess what? I was right. Once ad people start using a certain word that they like, they can't stop. They can't think in terms of any other word. Game changer, game changer, game changer.
At Beautiful Souls by Stayashay 8003 wrote,
Jesus, come back soon. We know this all USA set up for your coming before the Antichrist. The book of Revelation talks about these end times. People think the Bible is not useful, but it has warned us about the destruction to come.
At Ahu 27 wrote,
When I was young, they showed a video at my high school about how computers would create wealth for everyone and 4-day work weeks. Humph. Still waiting. Then it was the World Wide Web. Now AI, it's all about power, even when they try not to do it for power. In the end, it is power and dollar, 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 dollar. It never changes. Every generation has gotten weaker at fighting back. These oligarchs depend on us struggling financially, so we are too busy and weak to fight back. Every empire has shown this throughout history. Thank you, Karen Hao. You are very courageous. Keep speaking out, please.
Evan Jude wrote,
TL. DR at 2 hours, 4 minutes, 3 seconds. Let's not make it go flawlessly if we don't agree with what they're doing. She has an agenda and came out and said it. It only took her a little over 2 hours to get to it. She is advocating for the populace to sabotage multiple companies.
A Helikakuk wrote,
AI could hack other military weapons or turn off powers, and they'll definitely be used as weapons, so to say. Our adversaries and other superpowers won't use it if they have to, or focus on that is for the birds.
At Gustav Salkatarina 3510 wrote,
Please listen to this woman. Think about ALL people instead of the rich and those who have the resources to exploit AI. Even you, Stephen. Not everyone can be as skilled as you. Think. This is not hard to understand. A few people deciding over all the millions of people who live on a shared earth. Stop these few people. Stop AI.